All right, well, after 2 rounds of Ethan, it's time for someone new. And so our next speaker is Rafe Martin. He is the CRO squared of ComTech. That's the Chief Risk Officer and Chief Resilience Officer at ComTech. He helps manage cyber risk and enhance operational preparedness through effective cyber resilience and planning. In other words, he's trying to plan ahead so that you don't end up in trouble. With over 30 years of IT experience, he holds a certificate in artificial intelligence from MIT, certified in cybersecurity certification from ISC2, and a certified cyber resilience professional certification from DRI International. That is a lot of acronyms right in a row. He also told me last night, I'm a professional speaker. He's working on his speaking. He recently joined the NSA, not what you're thinking, the National Speakers Association. So he recently joined the NSA, but it does seem like he might be involved with NSA based on what I was reading here earlier. He's an in-demand speaker and host of ComTech's Ripple FX podcast. Is anybody listening to the podcast? Oh, that's why? He is the host of the soon-to-be-launched ComTech's Ripple FX podcast. If we could work on the notes next time, not throw me under the bus. Rafe shares insights, or he will share insights on emerging technology, cybersecurity, cyber resilience, and AI at conferences, on podcasts, and at webinars. This is interesting, though, whether it's creating harmony with his bluegrass band, that's interesting. Experimenting with the culinary philosophy, I like this, that anything wrapped in bacon and put on the smoker is bound to be a masterpiece. Rafe enjoys life's varied flavors. He also cherishes spending time with his wife of 34 years and their family. Please welcome to the stage, Rafe Martin.
Well, hello. I guess you didn't expect me to walk up here holding a baby. And frankly, I didn't either. He belongs to my niece, Lindsay, who apparently is still in the bathroom. So I thought, hey, what fun. I'll take Jake up on stage to have him meet everyone. So guys, meet baby Jake. It's her 3rd child. No, I'm not a grandfather. But as a father of 3, I always felt like I had a gift for getting fussy babies to go to sleep. So I understand Jake's had quite a fussy morning. So I thought it'd be neat if you all help me get Jake to go off to sleep. He's almost there. So if we can all together just go shh, shh, shh. So I'll count to 3 and we can just do kind of a loud shh. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3. I think it's working, but I need to give this baby to someone so I can get on with my presentation. Scotia, I see you out there. You're a friend of the family. Would you mind holding Jake so I can get on with talking about cybersecurity? And I'm sorry, I don't want to drop the baby off the stage. So.
How many times have I helped you do things? This is one thing that you've
I think
asked me to do.
Yeah.
I have held you other babies, though.
All right, be careful. There you go. Everything okay?
Rafe, that is not a real baby.
Oh, what? Gotcha.
You bring me up on the stage for this.
Meet fake Jake. That is fake Jake, not baby Jake. Thank you, Scotia. Give it up for Scotia for being a good sport. You can take Jake back to the table. So what you all just experienced, as a group, you were just hacked. I used a tactic, this tactic called social engineering, which is a common hacker tactic. So I created a believable story. It's all about deception. Who had any doubt in their mind the baby was real? Oh, you all thought the baby was fake? Or wait, let me ask it differently. Who thought the baby was real? That's it? Okay, well, it worked on Scotia. So using deception, creating a believable story, and then playing on your emotions, because a lot of people, when I walk by, you could see their hearts melt a little bit when they saw the baby. And I know that it does that to me too. So using deception, emotion, and then convincing you to take action. That's social engineering. That's a tactic that hackers use, among others, that we're going to learn about today. So we're about to embark on a journey together to transform you into guardians of your IT universe. So think of this session as cybersecurity boot camp meets a crime drama. We'll start off with briefing you a bit on the cybercrime report, just the general state of cybercrime. And then we're going to look at the most common cyber villains. We'll profile each one, see how they operate, how they collect their information, how they target their victims. Then we'll have this moment of transformation in the middle where we're arming you with the tools you need, the mindset and things that you need in order to do battle with these guys and emerge victorious. So at the end, you'll all be the ultimate guardian of your cyber universe, which is the human firewall. Get excited. Anyone want to be a human firewall? Yes. I was going to pass out capes, but Hunter wouldn't let me buy capes. So. All right, quick overview of cybercrime. When we think of hackers, this is the image that we've all been conditioned to come to mind. It's the lone guy in the hoodie, probably in his parents' basement, pulling off petty little cyber crimes. The reality is it looks more like this now. Cybercrime is a big business. It's run like a Fortune 500 company. So you've got a C-suite up at the top. You've got different levels of management, different departments, all the way down to the contractor who's the guy in the hoodie now. So how big is this business? I think Mike shared some of this earlier, but it's worth repeating. The average ransomware payout in 2013 was $1.5 million. That's just the ransom payment. When you look at all the costs associated with a ransomware attack or a data breach, $4.5 million is what I like to round that up to. So that includes paying the ransom, paying for remediation to put things back together. You may have who's subject to some sort of compliance in here, right? So you may have regulatory fines and fees, data forensics. A big one people don't think about a lot is loss of revenue. So when you factor all those together, it's about a $4.5 million event. Worldwide, $9.5 trillion. I think Mike shared the same number. I have a little bit bigger number though. In 2028, it's going to be almost $14 trillion industry. So it is a business, and like most businesses, there's a business plan, there's a framework to follow. So this is the cyber kill chain. It just sounds scary. This is the framework the bad guys follow when they're going to pull off an attack. So we'll be seeing some of this throughout the presentation, but I just want to review this with you. And for this example, we'll pretend we're the hacker and we're going to launch a spear phishing email attack on someone. So the first phase is the recon phase. This is where they're gathering information. If I'm going to attack Tom, I'm going to go out there and find everything I can find out about Tom, what he likes, who his friends are on Facebook, family members. I'm just gathering intel. So that's the recon phase. Then I'm going to take that information and weaponize it. And what that means is that story, like me walking up with the baby, I'm going to craft some compelling, convincing story and put that in the form of probably an email. And then delivery is me actually sending the email into Tom and it lands in his box. Exploit is when Tom clicks on it, and then that leads to installation. So the installation means the bad guys have installed their malware on the network. They've established what's called a command and control presence, where they've got eyes and ears now and they can move freely around in the network while they take their time to determine what's the best way to maximize this attack. So whatever that action is what they're going to take. It could be just theft of data, ransomware, we hear that a lot, but they could just be in for the credit card numbers. Other tools the bad guys have. Ethan just talked a lot about AI. Generative AI, well, guess what? The bad guys have it too. So that document that we're forming to be compelling to get Tom to click on it, you can use ChatGPT or other AI tools. You can also use an AI bot to go collect the information. So you're not manually looking through all of his social media profiles. You just stick the bot on him, and it'll go out and create a profile for Tom for us. So it's helping make them efficiency. And then they can actually use AI to develop malware. One of the big uses of AI when it first launched was for software developers, using it to write code. Well, there's something now called poisoned AI, where the hackers have poisoned those generative AI models that generate code so that they're spitting out code that has exploits in it the day it's launched. And these programmers aren't even aware of it because they're just trusting the AI to spit out good software. We'll talk about the dark web for a moment. Any pawn shop owners in here? I don't want to offend anyone. But I was thinking yesterday, the dark web is like the online pawn shop. Because, I don't frequent pawn shops a lot, but I've been in some. There's stuff in there that, was probably stolen and brought to a pawn shop to sell. Anytime there's a car break-in or something, you think, yeah, they're going to take that down the road and pawn it. You can also walk in the pawn shop and buy weapons. Dark web, to me, I'm drawing a parallel there because data breaches, a lot of times when they're in and they're stealing your data, they just intend to go sell it on the dark web. That's it. They're not going to use it to try to pull off attacks. You can also get on the dark web and buy ready-made viruses, other tools to cause trouble. So it's the cybercrime marketplace, and it's the source of illegal goods and services. Sorry, I'm losing my ear here. So anyway, it's where the cyber criminals go to buy, sell, trade, and it's their virtual marketplace is the best way to think of it. So learning more about our enemy, we're going to dive into the most wanted list here. So these are some profiles of the common types of hackers out there. We're going to go through each one and have a little story time with each one and learn how they work, how they prey on people, and what makes them tick. By the way, I made all these images in Leonardo.ai. I don't know if you mentioned that, but we're going to start with our first villain, the social engineer. Much like me walking up with the baby, this is kind of how this guy operates. So he's really good at surveillance, impersonation, and creating a sense of urgency to manipulate people. His target is Busy Becky. Look at this poor girl. She's got a wall of Post-it notes. She's sitting probably 5 computers around her. She's an HR manager at People First Solutions. Her weaknesses are she's very busy and distracted, as you can tell by looking at her. She tends to trust people without verifying, and she's a cybersecurity denier. What is the cybersecurity denier? It's someone that thinks they're not a target. Oh, we're not a target. We're too small. No one cares about us. We just have 10 employees, or we just whatever, making excuses. But she doesn't think she's a target. So if you remember that first phase of the cyber kill chain's recon. So the recon results on her are, even though she's busy, she makes time to get out on LinkedIn and post things. So she's frequently posting about all the challenges she has with HR processes, payroll, things like that. We were able to confirm her position on the company website. We know who her coworkers are. But she made a recent post about switching to ADP for payroll. So this is the golden nugget for the hacker, because that's the one he's going to take action on. So the method of attack is just going to make a phone call posing as the new payroll provider and hope for the best. So that phone call might sound something like this. Hey, Becky. This is Ralph from ADP. We're so excited you're coming on board, and I know we're about to run your first payroll. I had a little pushback on the ACH information you submitted, so I was wondering if you could just verify your routing number and account number for me while I've got you. Her being busy and distracted, you can hear the paper shuffling. She gets the checkbook out, and she goes, yeah, here, I'm glad to give you that. She reads them, routing number, account number. Social engineer, his attack on busy Becky is successful. They withdraw money, they disappear in the night, and then Becky's left wondering what happened. Our next villain, the manipulator. You'll see a theme here. They play on urgency and human emotion. Her target is gullible Greg. I made this image in Leonardo. He looks so pitiful, I almost feel sorry for him looking at the picture, but does it look gullible? So gullible Greg, the recon we've got on him, he's brand new to the company. You could tell by looking at him, he's a people pleaser. He's just eager to get out there and please. He's so new, he's not even on the staff directory on the website. So the manipulator just did a search online for posts from the company and learned that the CEO was posting that he's out of town at a conference and how he's a speaker coming up and he's all excited about his presentation. And that's going to be the nugget that the manipulator uses to attack poor old gullible Greg here. So she's going to send an email posing as the CEO and ask for Greg's login. So that email might sound something like this. Greg, this is your boss. I'm at the conference. I'm having an issue with my account. I can't even use my work email. I'm sending you a message from my personal Gmail account. I can't get to the presentation. Just give me your login because I don't have time to deal with IT to get this fixed. Gullible Greg, being the people pleaser, verifies nothing. He replies with his login credentials. Now the manipulator has access to Greg's account, so can do things as Greg, get into the network as Greg with his permission. So manipulator, attack successful. Our next villain, the impersonator. That's a scary picture. His powers are spear phishing and doing social media recon and then crafting really compelling phishing emails through the use of AI, and he's just a gifted criminal here. His target is Careless Carla. She's an office manager at Skyline Ventures. She's also a cybersecurity denier. Thinks we're not a target. We're so small, no one pays attention to us. She's easily distracted, and she's one of these people like, I don't have time for details, just give me a big picture, and because I've got things to do. The recon on Carla, again, LinkedIn here, and I'm not saying don't post on LinkedIn, so don't take that the wrong way, but LinkedIn was checked for company post, and they find that Carla just posted a photo of their brand new office furniture and tags their vendor for doing such a great job. She mentions, Brett at the company was her contact. He's so wonderful. I guess he probably asked her to make a post. And website confirms that Carla is the office manager. So the impersonator's going to formulate his attack based on those nuggets. So his plan is craft a compelling email, sending in malware as an attachment, posing as the billing contact, sending a fake invoice. So that email may sound something like, Carla, we're so glad to do your furniture. We appreciate the post and the shout out on LinkedIn. Here's the invoice. The invoice is infected. She clicks it because she's curious. She may think, I already paid the invoice. Or maybe this is the first time she's heard invoice. Either way, curiosity gets her. She clicks it. The impersonator, successful. Hopefully you hear a theme here, phishing emails. So 91% of all attacks begin with phishing emails. 1 in 5 employees is going to click on a phishing email. So picture yourself and 4 of your closest coworkers. One of you is going to be the one that clicks on a phishing email. And you're probably sitting there going, yeah, I know exactly who that person is going to be. So they're counting on the numbers. Villain profile next is the puppet master. So this guy, his powers are he exploits Internet of Things devices. So IoT devices, and it might be a new term for you, but it's things like your Nest thermostat. It's the smart thermometer in the aquarium. It could be your smart lights that are sitting on your network. It's any of these devices that ride on your network and provide these various functions. The puppet master's target, Oblivious Owen. He's the facility manager at Green Tech Solutions. His weaknesses are he tends to trust the smart devices. He's also a cybersecurity denier. We're not a target. And he likes to do things without involving IT. He's kind of a lone ranger here. So one of his faults is he does not change the default device password when he puts these things out there on the internet. Anyone heard, you may have heard this last time, it's the story about the casino that was hacked a while back through their smart thermometer in the giant aquarium. Apparently they didn't change the password on it, and hackers were able to scan and find this device in the aquarium and get into the network and pull off a big cyber heist. So Greg's kind of in the same, or Owen is in the same boat here. So Puppet Master's just going to do a scan, and he scans the network from outside, finds several devices on the network that oblivious Owen did not secure, and he was able to get a foothold in the network and then do damage from there. The Shadow Syndicate. This is the big crime syndicate group. Their powers, ransomware. Ransomware is a service also, which might be a new concept for some people. Ransomware as a service is when freelancers can align themselves with the big cybercrime syndicate, and their job is to write those compelling phishing emails, find their targets, get those delivered, and just get them to click. Once the target clicks, the freelancer's out of the picture. They move on to the next victim. At that point, the crime syndicate takes over, so they deal with all the other steps involved in a ransomware attack, planning the code, finding the data, encrypting it, putting the message on the screen, negotiating with them to collect the ransom. So that's ransomware as a service. They are going to target distracted Dave. Dave's the sales manager at Next Gen Innovations. His weaknesses, as you can tell in the picture, they're moving. So he's got this move going on and deadlines, and he's also another cybersecurity denier. The recon on this guy, Shadow Syndicates just sent a mass email blast into the company, just kind of fishing for data. What they got returned from Dave was an autoresponder that said, please be patient with us during our office move. So there's a nugget. We know he's overwhelmed and busy with an office move. Company website shows testimonials from some of their best clients. List the client name and contact. What are the odds that some of those are Dave's actual clients? Pretty high. So the method of attack here, the Shadow Syndicate's going to send an email attack, ransomware, disguised as an urgent RFP. Who's in sales in the room? You get an RFP, you're pretty quick to click on it, right? You can't wait to see what it is. So that's how they're going to attack them. So they send that email in, and it probably sounds something like this. Hey, this is, Acme Explosives, one of your best clients. We've got an urgent need. Here's an RFP. How soon can you get me a price back? Distracted Dave falls for it, clicks it, launches ransomware. So attack successful there. This one's an honorable mention. This is deepfake DEP. So again, AI-generated image using Leonardo for this one. But their superpowers are AI deepfakes. And deepfakes, just to define the term, it's when you use AI to impersonate people. And it started out with images, just a still photo of someone like these. And then it moved into voice, so you can record someone's voice or get a recording of their voice online. Maybe they made a YouTube video or a Facebook post. You just need a few seconds of their voice to then give it scripts, and the AI will talk and sound like them. Then it moved to videos, which were pretty scary, but the latest was a live Zoom meeting with an AI deepfake. So imagine the CFO calls a group of direct reports to a Zoom meeting and conducts an hour-long Zoom meeting, having people go off and do these transactions. The meeting's over. The scammer left the call $25 million richer. What surprised me about the whole thing is his direct reports couldn't recognize that wasn't him. So where does that leave us? It's a rhetorical question, but pick up the phone. make sure that that's the person you're dealing with. And it's not a widespread thing now, but it is out there and it has happened already. So, all right, enough gloom and doom, right? Those are all victims that were not guardians of their IT galaxy like you guys are going to be here in just a moment. So let's look at our weapons as guardians together. So our arsenal, your arsenal in protecting your business. Artificial intelligence. We have it too. Bad guys have it. We have it. It's part of some of the cybersecurity tools that we use. It's used to help defend you better through things like identifying vulnerabilities as they come in, detecting anomalies on the network, the ability to analyze data and recognize patterns, which AI is big about pattern recognition. And it improves our capabilities to respond automatically, because that's very important when it comes to cybersecurity. The faster you can respond, the more you can minimize damage. So AI tools are built into some of the tools we're using at ComTech. Another big thing you can arm yourself with is a zero trust cybersecurity model. It should be the new normal for everyone. Now, what is zero trust? It follows this mantra of never trust, always verify. Old school way was trust but verify. And it assumes there's a breach, and I use this analogy a lot. Imagine that your business is a castle, the old way. Anyone remember back in the days where I just had a firewall and Norton antivirus, and life was good? That's all I need. Those days are gone. But that's old school, perimeter focus. So if you take the castle analogy, it's your moat. Make sure it's got alligators in it, and then you got a drawbridge. That might be your firewall. Let's make sure that we're keeping that updated. Old school, new way, zero trust assumes the bad guys are already in the castle. So anytime they leave a room and try to get in another room, you're verifying everything. It follows a framework where the 5 pieces that we verify with zero trust is you verify the user, they are who they say they are, verify the devices that they're using, you're verifying the programs that they can use, the applications they're using, and then you're verifying the data that they can get to, and then the network itself. So it's like a 5-pillared framework with zero trust. Great news for ComTech clients. If you're using CyberArmor, you're already getting this. So here's an overview of our CyberArmor offering. And again, this is the big guardian tactic for zero trust cybersecurity bundle. Some of the highlights are, yes, it's zero trust. There is 24/7 monitoring through a piece called the SOC, which is a Security Operations Center. Ransomware detection and isolation. Hopefully none of you have, but if you've ever had to deal with ransomware, it tends to infect everybody on the network. With this tool in place through CyberArmor, if something were able to get through all the protections we have in place, and someone launched ransomware on their machine, it would be isolated to that one computer. So now we're just cleaning up one computer and not a whole office full. So it really minimizes the disruption when you think of how bad it could have been. So a great point, a great feature there. Application controls, the best way to describe that is, imagine you are going to a website you visit all the time, it's legit, but that website got compromised and malware was installed on it. And then every time you come to visit it, or the next people to come visit it, it's trying to install that malicious code on their computer. Well, those are unknown executables trying to run on your machine. Application controls keeps them from running. So we only allow approved programs to run. So in that case, it would have prevented the attack. I have an interesting story real quick. There was a business that was targeted, and they had all this, great cybersecurity stuff going on, or decent cybersecurity. So the hackers couldn't get in, but they were so determined they were going to attack this business. Doing a little work, looking online, they noticed that a lot of the employees liked to frequent this Chinese restaurant that was across the street. So what they did was they compromised the Chinese restaurant's menu page and installed malware because they know these employees over here order a lot and they're always looking. And that was their way in, was through that malware-infected Chinese restaurant menu on the website. Application controls would have stopped that. Ring fencing is another one here. That's just making sure programs can play or stay within the sandbox they're supposed to. Best example of that is like a Word or Excel document. Those Microsoft applications can have, they have scripts and macros and all that. So they can have malicious code injected into them. So if a Word document opens and there's a code in there trying to run a PowerShell script or sniff around your network and do things like that a Word document shouldn't really be doing, this kind of keeps it under control and says, no, we're not going to allow you to go out and do that. The SIM, which is a security information and event management piece, that's logging. So anytime there's activity on your network, which there's constantly activity, all of that stuff's logged. And so there's thousands per hour. It's virtually impossible for a human to look at all that stuff. So this is where some of those AI tools come in. It's looking for patterns in those log files, detecting anomalies, and it sees something, could be threatening or malicious. It alerts people who then take a closer look and then take action. Again, the point there is to act quickly. Password manager, you should have a unique password for every site you visit on the internet, and that sounds like a giant chore. Well, the solution there is to use a password manager. So we provide Password Boss as part of the Cyber Armor suite. Then you just need to remember one password, and you can be following that rule with the rest of your passwords around the website. And then employee cybersecurity training. Who's getting our weekly micro trainings? Awesome. How about the phishing email tests? Yeah, those are great. So that is our most important tool, becoming the guardians here, is that training, because it's going to keep you current on the latest threats. It's also just kind of, repetition. The more you see examples of these type of attacks like we just looked at, you're going to get into a mindset of cybersecurity awareness. So this is kind of special. The crystal plaque. So if you're a Cyber Armor user, you get this beautiful crystal plaque to display proudly in your office. Who's got theirs so far? Yeah, oh good, a bunch of hands up. This just lets the world know we take this seriously, lets your clients know if they walk in the door, hey, we're doing all we can within reason to protect your data. So it's something to be proud of, and it's something that gives your clients and your, the people that you're serving a peace of mind, and your employees too, because you're also holding their data as well. So we're providing this as well as a window cling you can put on the door when they come in. Lets people know, hey, we're taking this seriously. And then a badge for your website. So everybody got all that stuff now out there? Letting the world know, hey, we take this cybersecurity stuff seriously. More guardian tactics. I know we talked about the weekly micro training, but other trainings, which was mentioned earlier, our Cyber Hero Academy. So Ethan will come out and do an in-person training at your location. It's called the Cyber Hero Academy. It's a lot of fun. The people who's had it, anyone had Ethan come out yet? It's kind of new, so we're just getting it going. Let us know if you'd like this. We do it. It's on us. We'll come out and do this training for you people on site. If you don't have a place to host it, we've got other offices and space where we can do it and just have you guys come in. So take advantage of that. You're going to learn things, how to identify threats, the best security practices, how to protect your company, being safe on the internet and mobile devices, and much more. There's a business card on several cards on the tables. So take one of those, reach out to us if you want to schedule an in-person training, and then you'll be not only guardians, but cyber heroes as well. I think that comes with a certificate for everyone at the end too, so it's fun stuff. And it's useful, practical, and we try to make it a good time as well. Another important tool you need to implement as a guardian of your IT galaxy is multi-factor authentication. I'm not going to get into technical weeds about that, but what it is, it's using another device to verify you are who you say you are. If you remember that framework I mentioned, verifying the user is a piece of that. So MFA, in other words, multi-factor authentication, is a way to accomplish that. Everybody using MFA, at least for some of their things? Good. Another great guardian tactic, least privilege access. So this means people should only get to things they need to get to do their job. So if I'm in, say, shipping, probably don't need access to HR data, payroll data, confidential employee records, things like that. So it's a lot easier to do this if you make people role-based so that you can assign based on that role. Shipping guy only needs to see shipping things. That's all he needs to do his job. So least privilege access. And that's one of the important components of the zero trust model when we look at zero trust. Password manager, I just mentioned. Interesting fact though, 81% of password breaches were known passwords. Anyone want to guess what we mean by known passwords? Password. Dog's name. Or you can get real crafty and put an exclamation point on the end. And then when you're forced to change it, you can put the second exclamation point on the end and just keep going until you run out of exclamation points. Password manager, again, lets you be legit with actually cryptic passwords and having a unique one for every site you need one on. All right, social media. If you remember from our examples earlier with the villains attacking, a lot of that intel they gathered on social media. So be careful what you post on social media. And it's not on here, but for goodness sakes, don't post your vacation pictures while you're on the vacation, because it just tells everybody that's connected to you that you're not home and you're not at work. So you can be taken advantage of there. I know I've got like 1,200 Facebook friends, and if they all walked in, I'd actually maybe know 400 of them. So, I don't post things on social media unless I cook a really good-looking steak. Then I'll put it out there. Can't use that against me. So be careful what you share. Be careful if you receive requests for a connection with someone that you already have a connection with. So I have this friend of the family forever, Carol Patterson, bless her heart. I keep getting connection requests from Carol. I'm like, we're already Facebook friends. What's going on here? The hackers, they find people that have lots of friends. They take their picture, because it's easy to just lift their picture off the Facebook profile. They go set up another account as Carol Patterson, and they can see her friends. They just start sending them all friend requests again. So she's got several occurrences of this. So if you get that from someone, let them know so they can let Facebook know, and they'll have that account removed. And you can also report it as well. But it's just, if you think we're already friends, don't do it. And I know it's easy to do if you're distracted and busy, like Busy Becky. And any kind of request for immediate action. And that's one of the plays there with those duplicate social media accounts is I may have just been busy and connected with Carol for the third time. I might get a message from Carol saying, hey, I've had something horrible happen. Do you think you could help me out with a loan or whatever, asking for money? They eventually ask for money, right? So just be aware of that stuff. Okay, here's a quick test for you guys. We're talking about public Wi-Fi safety. So you walk into Black Bear Coffee Shop. Which of those available Wi-Fi connections is the real one, the legit one? Can you see? What would your first guess be? I would probably guess. So the real one, the answer is, it's whichever one is printed up on the sign at the cash register. Or you have to go up and ask, because the others could definitely be scammers trying to get you to connect to theirs so that they can intercept all the data that you're transmitting and do bad things based on the data that you're using. So if there's ever more than one, definitely ask, which one should I be using? An even better option is to, if you're coffee shop and you just got to you have to use your laptop, connect to your cell phone, just tether to your hotspot. Then you know whose connection you're using. It's yours. It's your mobile carrier's hotspot. So that's a better option there. Okay, this is one of my favorite drums to beat, cloud security. How many people rely heavily on a cloud-hosted application to conduct most of their business functions? A lot. And I'm so glad you're here. There's a misconception out there, not saying that it's in this room, but others I talk to that think, I don't need to worry about cybersecurity. All my stuff's in the cloud. It's their problem. And it's especially true with healthcare providers because their EMR, their patient records, all that stuff's in the cloud. It's not hosted locally. And there's a feeling that I don't need to worry about that. That's their problem. Could not be any more false. Even if you're heavily reliant on the cloud, you still need to protect your workstations locally because that's your entry point into the cloud. And if those machines get compromised, the hackers can now just get on the cloud as if they were you, exfiltrate data, look at things they're not supposed to be looking at. So you're not off the hook just because you're in the cloud. All the same cybersecurity best practices still apply. All right, just some review here because you're going through this journey together, and this is like you're about to come out of the end of your training phase here. So just some reviews. Don't click attachments you're not expecting. Don't send confidential information over open email, meaning email that's not encrypted. And then always verify the email source. And that's part of what you get in our trainings too, is how to tell, is that a legitimate email that this message is coming from? And one of the easiest ways to do it is just hover over the email address or click it to see the actual address. And it should look like, the .com address that belongs to the person that you think it's coming from. So a lot of times if you see it's just weird, cryptic looking Gmail, it's user678@gmail.com, but they say it's Sally Smith. That's kind of a giveaway. Top threats, phishing again. I think we can't talk about that enough, but again, in the training, you'll be trained to identify these phishing attacks and recognize them when they come in. And the phishing tests that go out, if you've ever failed that, you click on it, you feel kind of icky, right? Remote worker endpoint security, like we just talked about. Internet of Things devices, just for all means, if you're going to stick them out there. If you can put them on a separate network, that's ideal, and definitely change the default passwords on those. Wi-Fi security, we just covered. Again, verify that network name with the people that run the place. Use your phone if you can. And if you can use a VPN, anyone using VPNs? Virtual private network. So that's like a secure pipe that rides on your connection so that everything you do is encrypted. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Like fake babies. Beware of urgency. There's this story I heard recently about an attorney that got a phone call from his son and son said, "Dad, I've been in a wreck. There's a woman involved in the other car. I think she might be dead. She's on the way to the hospital now. The police want to haul me in because I've had a few drinks. I don't know what to do. I called my lawyer. He's about to board a plane, but he can post bail for me if you can just get him the payment information." And I'm going to hang up because he's getting ready to call you. So he hangs up the call, the phone rings, and it's this guy that says, yes, I'm the attorney. My plane boards in 8 minutes, but if you can just get me your checking information, I can take it over the phone and call this in before I hop on the plane, and then your son won't have to spend the night in jail. This is an attorney. He just took a moment to stop and said, wait a minute, time out. My son doesn't drink. It was a scam. Get a call from the son right after that. Dad, I'm fine. I haven't been in a wreck. You're being scammed. Hang up the phone. So if you find that, oh my gosh, I'm trying to react in a panic mode because of what someone's telling me, take a moment and stop and think, could this be, is this legit? So that urgency is always in play in some of those attacks like that. So when in doubt, pick up the phone. That's the big takeaway, I think, from here. Okay, so we're transforming you into the ultimate guardian, which is the human firewall. Does everyone know what a firewall is? It's a piece of hardware that sits on your network. It's between you and the internet, the outside. So best way to think of it is it's a filter. Keeps the bad stuff out, lets the good stuff through. That's the simplest definition of a firewall I can think of. As the human firewall, you're kind of acting in that same capacity. Being aware, you're the first line of defense, so existing in a security conscious culture, and again, continuous training. So let's revisit those attacks, but now these targets have been trained up as cyber guardians and human firewalls. So let's revisit this one again. The social engineer. Remember Becky? She's been transformed from busy Becky, before and after picture, right? Now she's battle ready Becky. She's ready to do battle with these guys. So just a reminder, she was an HR manager at PeopleSoft. Her strength now is she's a trained up cybersecurity guardian. She's a human firewall. If we remember the recon on this attack before, she was posting about, hey, we just switched to ADP for payroll. The hacker's going to call her, posing as the payroll provider, and he's asking her for the checking account information. Now, what do you think Becky's going to do? Because she is battle-ready Becky now. She's got the training. She's a human firewall. What would you do as Becky in this situation? Say it louder. Let me call you back. Becky's going to call him back on a known good phone number. What's something else she could do? Exactly. I'm sorry, say it louder.
Tell me what number you have.
Right. Yes. Like you said the account number was wrong. What's the number you've got? Oh, I don't have a number. Or make up something that doesn't sound anything like it. So in this case, the attack failed. Social engineer was not successful because battle-ready Becky took a moment to think, picked up the phone. All right, that other attack, the manipulator. She was attacking. Gullible Greg has been transformed into Guardian Greg, before and after. I feel a lot better about Greg now in that second photo. I'm a lot more confident in him. So if you remember, he was brand new marketing coordinator. He's now a trained cybersecurity guardian, AKA human firewall. The way they were attacking Greg, if you remember, they learned that the CEO was out of town, getting ready to speak at a conference. They sent Greg an email posing as the CEO and said, hey, Greg, just give us your account because I don't have time to deal with IT to get to what I need to. What do you think Greg did now because he's human firewall? How did Greg stop this attack? What? Sorry? First of all, Greg knows I'm not giving my login out, even if it is the CEO, because we've got a policy now that we just don't share our logins with people. What's the number one thing? If it sounds urgent, hey, this guy's got to get into his presentation right now. Greg, contact IT, but I would say pick up the phone, call the CEO, call his mobile. I just got an email from someone saying they're you that wants my login. Are you able to get your stuff at the conference? And CEO at that point says, I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm so happy for Guardian Greg because he was pitiful before. Attack failed. Give Greg a hand. Give Greg a hand. Yeah. Our next attack, the impersonator, he was targeting cautious Carla, if you remember. She was the office manager, Skyline Ventures. She's now a trained up cybersecurity guardian and ultimate human firewall. The way the impersonator was attacking her, this was the office furniture one where she posted the picture. We're so happy with our new office furniture. And the attack method was we're going to send an email in with a fake invoice attached, posing as the company. So they're sending this invoice in to Carla. So as a human firewall, and you're in Carla's position, what would you do here? Looks like an invoice from someone saying they're the furniture company. Verify the sender, and you'd learn that in training, how to verify email senders. Call a known good phone number, but there's one thing that we're not thinking about here. If they're trying to send malware in, and this is on the counter in the office, it's likely to never even land in her inbox. Those are all other, as well, great ideas and great things to do. So the impersonator attacking cautious Carla. The attack failed. Give Carla a hand. Give these guys a hand. Thank you. Good answers, great answers. The puppet master. This was the Internet of Things guy that exploits little devices put on the network like the light switches and the light bulbs and the Alexa and the thermostat and all that. So oblivious Owen has been transformed into on guard Owen before and after there. I feel a lot better about Owen as well. He was a facilities manager. Now he's a trained up cybersecurity guardian. If you remember, he was a cybersecurity denier before. So we've converted him. He's a human firewall. The method of attack here, the scanning tools, they're just not going to find anything because he's got them all secure now. Give Owen a hand. He did a great job. Attack failed. Okay, this was the big ransomware attack, the Shadows Syndicate. And if you remember, the target there was Dave, distracted Dave. He's been transformed into Defender Dave, and he's much better looking as a result. You can see that. So he was in sales. This was the one where they were going to send. They know he's distracted with his move because he's in sales. They're going to send him an RFP, and it, of course, was infected with malware. So what are some things he's going to do? It sounds a lot like the 2 episodes ago. Verify the sender. If they've got that crystal plaque at the front desk, it probably doesn't even make it to his inbox to begin with, and then pick up the phone. So are you getting this recurring theme here? Verify. Just know that deception is their number one tool. So their attack failed this time. Give Dave a hand. Dave did great. All right, so we're setting you up to be the human firewall. And again, what that means is you're the first line of defense. if you remember back to that slide about the phishing attempts, 91% of all this stuff's coming through with phishing emails. 1 in 5 of you in your office, and you know who that person is going to click on these things. So you're empowering yourself and your people. Training is key there, so you got to get in that mindset of doing training. Adopt that zero trust philosophy, even as a mindset, not just a tool set. Never trust, always verify. And then stay vigilant, just stay aware, realizing, we talked about the cybersecurity deniers. Don't be a cybersecurity denier. Understand that anyone is a target. Okay, guys. Congratulations, you've reached the end. You are now ultimate guardians, i.e. human firewalls. So let's all stand together and we're going to take the ultimate guardian pledge. We're not getting married, it's okay. But this is going to get us in the mindset of walking out of here as cyber guardians protecting our IT galaxy. So let's say these 3 lines together. I pledge to protect my organization by being vigilant and proactive. I will empower my team to stand as a united human firewall. I commit to safeguarding our data, our people, and our mission. Congratulations, give yourself a hand. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, there's my info. Back to you, Dave.